current contract is absolutely the best contract ever negotiated, certainly in my lifetime, not only with UPS, but in any industry.
Well, the current contract's the strongest one we've had and since I've been working there, and it's great.
I think it's a very good contract. It has a lot of strong language that we have to enforce to make it work.
And it doesn't make sense to have the best contract if you don't enforce the best contract.
Unless we go out and enforce that contract and get everything out of that contract, get the wages, the hours, and make sure we police that contract, it's meaningless.
One of the biggest issues that we have in our area, and which certainly we find out that it's just not reduced to us, but it's going around the country, is supervisors taking the members' work.
You can walk into any UPS building across this country and find supervisors working on almost any given day. But it happens every day and it needs to stop. If they've got setup work to do, that's Teamster work, that's bargaining unit work, and we need to enforce that.
If they don't hire enough people to cover the job, that doesn't give them a right to work supervisors. That takes away money from our members.
My building has 250 drivers, and they all have their eyes out there. So they spot a supervisor out there delivering, and they come to me and they say, hey, I saw so-and-so, and we can use that, filing grievances to build a case that they need to put some more drivers on, some more union workers on.
Now we're talking about supervisors doing bargaining unit work. How do we handle that? Write it up, write it up, write it up. We got to write it up. If we got it in the contract and it's our work, if we don't write it up, we're going to give it up. And we're not giving it up. We got the language, let's do it.
The overtime issue is a very serious issue. It's the quality of life that people are looking for. They want to be home and watch their children grow. They want to be with their families and stuff. So with this 9-5 language, if he does it right, and he writes the grievance up, gives it to his shop steward, and processes the grievance procedure the way it's supposed to be taken care of, it will be taken care of immediately.
Drivers are out there working over 9.5 hours a day, and they complain a lot. But they don't file grievances, and I tell them, when we go to negotiations, we ask all the locals to pull all the 9-5 grievances or supervisor working, and then we bring those to the table, and if we don't have enough, then we can talk about being a big issue, but that's the paperwork that we need.
It's important that there's communication between all the drivers who are working out there and letting them know that you have this right too. And that way, the company's forced to, put more drivers on. If they got the work there for the drivers, they don't want to put extra drivers on. They want to just, make the drivers that are there work harder. So it's very important that every single member knows their rights and knows how to enforce them.
If you can limit overtime to 9.5 or less, obviously that extra work above that goes to another job, another driver. It creates more jobs for the company. It creates more membership for our union.
With this particular issue of subcontracting, we're finding that it is pretty much nationwide now.
Our feeder drivers are the ones that will be affected by the subcontracting. We're going to have to be looking out and see what work they're taking.
Well, we've got a contract with UPS that states that this is union work, this is what we're going to do. And the company's constantly trying to find ways to get around that. And one of the ways is by using subcontractors, by bringing them in, when no one's looking, when no one's around, when the yards are empty, sneaking them in and taking work and paying a guy $8-9 an hour, whatever they can get away with, to take that work out.
So you got to get a picture of these trucks. Take a picture of the door. Who is that guy? What's the name of that company? Where did he come out of? When was he in here? Whose work was he doing? These are the kind of things we want you to do. Don't come and tell us about it. Get a picture of it. File a grievance. And then we'll go after him.
The importance of challenging the company's desire to subcontract boils down to jobs.
If we eliminate subcontractors, that means we're making more opportunities for our package drivers to get feeder jobs, which in turn leaves opportunities for our part-timers to move to full-time jobs. Those are very important issues. That's why enforcing this contract is so important.
Are we going to see overnight trailers show up on UPS hubs doing logistic work? Yes, you are. So you can expect that. That's coming. You're going to see it. What we have to be on guard of is making sure that they're not hauling UPS loads out of those hubs, taking our work away from our members.
Since UPS bought overnight, and they're going to be coming into the same building, we're going to have to be looking out and see what work they're taking, because that's going to affect our feeder drivers. They're going to lose work.
They didn't buy this company just to let it sit separately. They're going to start integrating their work into overnight. That's their purpose.
Members have to make sure that the work is not integrated. And once the first sign of that, or the first time that raises its head, that someone sounds the alarm.
If overnight trailers are carrying United Parcel Service volume, those trailer numbers and any other specific information needs to be documented. Times, locations, any information that would be helpful in a grievance procedure, especially at an arbitration level.
And we have to make sure that we keep the pressure on, that we preserve union jobs, high standards that we have now, and that this purchase becomes a positive for the Teamster members out there, whether they be freight or UPS, as opposed to a negative. And I think we can do that. And we're also talking about the long-term plan to make sure that we can go after overnight. Somewhere along the line, I'll make a pledge to you, we're going to get them in the Teamsters Union, and that's good for everybody.
We understand this employer. We know his business inside and out. We recognize that it's a profitable employer, and we want to make sure that the UPS worker understands the union is with them. We're going to fight hard for the density with DHL. We are going to organize their gateways, and we have, and get contracts. We are going to organize what they call their independent contractors.
At some places, we're winning 4 and 5 elections in a week. So we're very proud of our effort to get these people under contract. And that's what it's all. We want to level that playing field.
We are going to continue to stay after them. It's a good thing for the industry. It maintains parity with what UPS does, and make sure that FedEx understands that's exactly what we intend to do with them.
We're putting on more people, more resources. We're going to aggressively go after this situation to make sure that our members are protected.
We have very capable staff, and we're expanding that, and we're restructuring that. We have brought on strategic researchers that every day their job is to wake up in the morning and look to see what UPS is doing. We don't want to be reactive, we want to be proactive.
We're making our division even stronger than it was. And I think that's really encouraging. But like I said, that goes along with the rank and file, with the local union. It's a team effort. It isn't about one person, it's about all of us together.
But we talk about supervisors working, and we talk about excessive overtime, and we talk about subcontracting. And while it may individually affect different classifications, this is about all our members.
A member has to always remember that they are the union.
That contract is there for our benefit. It's there for our members' benefit, and if we can police it the way it should be policed, then we'll all make out in the end.